What are the most important things that you can be doing in your life? A lot of guys think that a vacation is like, going to Cancun and sitting there on the beach or by the pool or whatever, and just drinking margaritas and doing nothing. No. That's not a vacation. That's not a vacation at all. That's just an interlude between blocks of work. That's not a vacation. No, a vacation is when you completely change your activity for a set period of time. Notice the key word. You change your activity. You are still active. You are not inactive. You are going on all 6 cylinders, but just going in a completely different direction. Let me give you an example. Suppose you work at an office doing whatever. You're just doing some computer shit, right? You're at some office doing this thing, and you have 2 weeks, a block of 2 weeks to go on vacation. Where do you go? You know what you should be doing? You should be doing some activity that requires all of your brain power and potentially, all of your body doing some activity that's completely different from what you're usually doing at work. For instance, rather than going to the beach, go to some dude ranch or something like that, where you have to work on horses or whatever, and you're running around all day worrying about the goddamn horses. Or do something that is totally different. Like in my own case, I like to do woodworking. And sometimes I'll go through a phase where I decide that for a week or so, or maybe 2 weeks, I'll just do woodworking shit. It's not very good, and my woodworking is kind of crappy. But the point is, see, when I'm doing it, I'm using completely different muscles in my body, and more importantly, different muscles in my brain. And that's the key issue, the different muscles in your brain. See, you're going on all cylinders in one direction, doing one thing, your business, your job, whatever. And you're going at it all the time. And every day you take a break, after work, maybe you play video games for an hour or so, or maybe you just do internet crap just to distract yourself, right? But you're not really focused on something else. You're just relaxing at the end of the day, after having spent your entire day doing that business thing or that work thing or whatever it is, right? You've been focused, and then you sort of relax. But that work thing, it's still in the back of your head. You're still thinking about it. Your gears are still grinding about it. You might be surfing the web, playing some video game, whatnot, but in the back of your head, you're still thinking about the work thing. But suppose that for your vacation, you decide that you're going to do something extra strenuous and difficult. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that you're going to go and, hike up some mountain. It's actually technically challenging. I mean, you actually have to be thinking about it all the time, and it's a complicated thing. It's not just, going up a hill. No, you got to, worry about the gear, worrying about the climate, and thinking constantly, right? Well, you're going to be thinking about something completely different during those 2 weeks that you do this mountain climb or whatever. Yeah? And that's the point of a vacation. The vacation should not be where you're just doing nothing. It should not be where you're just quote unquote relaxing. No, you got to focus your mind on something completely different, something that really gets your mind going, so that you truly forget about work and business. A guy I knew years ago, he'd go sailing. And one time he took me along, I fucking hated it, right? And he wasn't that keen on it either, right? And he would sail for 2 weeks, and he would sometimes make it a point of going into relatively inclement weather, right? And sometimes taking his chances and really having to be focused as a sailor, right? And he would tell me that that's the reason he did it. Because when he was sailing, he had to focus his complete attention on the task at hand. He had to focus on the wind, he had to focus on the shape of his boat, he had to focus on where he was going, how he was going to get there. And he didn't, sail around the Caribbean. No, he would go some places that were kind of dicey, and fucking took me once, and I fucking hated it. I swore that I'd never get on a goddamn boat after that, and I never have. And that was back in 2001, for crying out loud. Yeah, because I fucking hated it, right? Because he liked that shit. He liked that shit, and he took me along. And to tell you the truth, even though I fucking hated it, the week that I was on that boat with him, it was goddamn difficult. It was goddamn difficult, and I had to be focused. I had to be focused 100% of the time, Because even when I was going to sleep, you had to pay attention, is the boat rocking too much? Does that mean that bad weather's on its way? You got to keep your eye on the radar. You got to keep your eye on the weather reports and whatnot. It was not easy. And it was precisely because of that week that I spent, aside from the fact that I fucking hated it and got seasick and all the rest of it, but to tell you the truth, it was this huge cleanse. It was truly a vacation. Because when I came back to work, the work I was doing at the time, it was a completely fresh start. And that's why you take a vacation. You take a vacation because your work needs it. Just like your body needs to go to sleep every day, and you need your 6 or 7 or 8 hours of sleep every night. It's different for everybody, and there's no shame in needing 8 hours, and there's no virtue in needing only 5. No, you should sleep what you need to. But the point remains, you need to sleep. You need that break in consciousness. Yeah? And that's what a vacation is, but like on a macro scale. You need to take vacations. There's nothing wrong with it, and on the contrary, there is a great deal that is wrong if you do not take a vacation. Yeah, if you don't take a vacation, you're going to burn out. Simple as that. It's not complicated, right? You refuse to take a vacation and you keep on grinding away at whatever it is that you're doing, your work principally, because that's we're guys, okay? I'm a guy, you're a guy. We know how it is. We focus on something, on some work thing, and we keep on going, and we eventually burn out. Yeah, inevitably. And that's why vacations are so important. That's why you have to take a week off every 6 months, at least, and do something completely different where you are completely focused. I remember one time, like in '97, I went to Cancun for a week, right? I went to Cancun, I stayed at Club Med. Didn't have to do anything at Club Med, right? Just sit there by the pool, drinking all day, and, fucking whomever came along. Yeah, because it was goddamn easy. But anyway, I remember that vacation. It was horrible, yeah? Because I had a good time when I was there, yeah. I was just relaxing, quote unquote. But the fact of the matter is that, all the problems I had before I took the vacation, they stayed in my head and they kept on grinding away. And, I started drinking more. I started drinking rather heavily, to tell you the truth. It was the one time in my life that I think to myself retrospectively that, holy shit, was I drinking a lot? I was drinking, 9, 10 a.m. in the morning. I'd get up, untangle myself from the limbs of whatever chick I'd banged the night before, right? Go down to the bar and start drinking at fucking 10 in the morning and keep on drinking until, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, just nonstop. And what did I get out of it? I didn't relax. My problems were still with me. They were still in my head. I was using the booze to anesthetize my brain, to drink away my worries and concerns about my business. But my brain was still worrying and worrying and worrying. Yeah, and it was horrible. It was the worst vacation I ever took, to tell you the truth. Yeah, the vacation where I just sat there by the pool for a solid week, drinking and fucking, and my worries were always with me. That's why you need a vacation, to give your brain a break. And that's why you should have a hobby, for instance. Hobbies are like mini vacations for your brain. Yeah. I personally don't have hobbies because what I've done is that I've made sure that every hobby that I have becomes somehow a business that I have, right? I started YouTube, for instance, as a hobby, and it's grown, it's become like a thing, and so I keep on doing it. But the thing is, see, it's not the only thing that I do. Yeah? I have multiple different things that I'm doing simultaneously. And when I get sick of one, I go over to the other. And that keeps me sane. A lot of guys have like some job or some business or whatever, and they focus 90% of their time, of their conscious energy on that business because they have to. They cannot have the luxury that I have of having, 3 or 4 or 5 different things that each consume, say 20% of my attention, and I just flip through them and I'm fine. No. These guys have, maybe you, have 90% of your attention focused on the one thing because it's the thing that you got in your life, right? Well, then you got to develop a hobby that sucks your attention, that consumes your attention. Yeah? And maybe you're not able to do it every day, but perhaps you're able to do it, once a week for a good 3, 4, 6 hours. Something that really grabs your mind and just sucks away your attention so you forget about the work thing, the thing that is consuming your head 90% of the time. I realize as I'm doing this video that reading for me is that I try to read about 50 pages every day, no matter what, right? I'm not very good or very diligent about the working out shit. I'm kind of horrible about it, to tell the truth. I wish it weren't the case, but it is. You know, I want to work out every day, and I start for a while, and then, you know, I blow it off, and that's that, right? But the reading thing, I pretty much stick to it. I read 50 pages every day because it's sort of like my daily break from whatever else is going on, okay? But we human beings need this. We need it, and we are fools if we start acting like we don't. Sometimes you'll catch yourself in this idiotic and immature, quite frankly, attitude that, oh no, I'm tough enough. I'm tough enough. I don't need this shit. This old man here on the video needs his breaks, his rest time, poor thing. But I don't. I'm a man. I'm tough. It's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. We all need a break. We all need a break. Absolutely. Hasn't it happened to you that you're exhausted, right? You're exhausted because you've been working like a dog for X number of hours, right? And you want to keep on going. You want to keep on going because you need to, for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. And you keep on going, but the thing is, see, your exhaustion is preventing you from doing it. Your exhaustion, you realize, is making you make mistakes. And you start doing things and thinking that, you know, it's okay, but no, you realize, holy shit, I'm making more and more mistakes here, right? Why do you think that that's happening? I mean, you know the frustration you get when your exhaustion starts making you make mistakes, right? You know that frustration with yourself. But you have to realize that, see, it's not something that you can control. And more to the point, it's not something that speaks ill of you. It's not. We all get to a point where we are exhausted, where we cannot continue, where we need a break. We all come to that moment, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with acknowledging it. And realizing that we have limits. Yeah, see, young guys have a problem accepting the fact that they have limits. Young guys, they keep on stupidly saying that they have no limits, or they might not say that because they know that it's not the thing to do, but they secretly believe that. Yeah, I know that because I remember when I was young. I remember, and I was such an idiot that I thought that I could go on and on and on, that I was like a Energizer bunny that I'd never end, right? I could just keep on grinding it out and I'd be fine. And Jesus Christ. And do you have any idea how many mistakes I made? Mistakes I made out of exhaustion. Mistakes I made of pushing myself so hard, but I just couldn't do it anymore. I could barely keep my eyes open. And I arrogantly and stupidly thought to myself that no, that I can do this. I can keep on going. I don't need a break. Everyone needs a break. Every guy needs a break. I don't care what your name is, man. Every guy needs a break, and more to the point, every guy needs a vacation. A smart man knows his limitations. A smart man acknowledges his limitations. A smart man is always trying to, expand his limitations a little bit by bit, just pushing them back just a little bit more every day that he can. Yeah? But he doesn't pretend that they're not there. Never. You always want to be, as a young man, what you want to be doing is finding where your limits are. That's your number one priority when you're young. You want to figure out what are the borderlands of your limitations, and then once you know them all, once you recognize where those borders are, you want to expand them, just push them back. You're like a little empire. You're a little empire, and you want to grow your little empire, and that's perfectly fine. But you have to know where the border is. You got to know for yourself so that you know what is the thing that you cannot do, the line that you cannot step over. Interestingly enough, it's been when I've been on vacations, on real vacations, when I've had my mind thinking of completely different things, that I've not only realized where my limitations are, but much more importantly, I realized how I can push them forward. It's only been when I've been on real vacations doing things that are completely different from my day-to-day that I've had these beautiful flashes of clarity that have allowed me to make a better go at my business, at my career, at the things that are important to me. You're only going to discover how to improve yourself in these like quantum leaps when you are thinking of things that are completely different from your day-to-day. That's why vacations are so important. Yeah? It's great to have these daily vacations, reading a little bit every day or doing some other hobby or whatever the hell, right? But these blocks of like a week or 2 weeks where you are doing something completely different, where every night you are thinking of something different, and every morning you're confronted by new challenges that have nothing to do with your day-to-day, it's only in those periods that you can sort of like mentally step away from your daily life and look at it objectively and realize what you have to do. That's why it's so important and it's so valuable. And these guys who claim to be workaholics, who never stop, and they're fools. They're fools because they are never allowing themselves that possibility of stepping away from the thing that they care about and are working so hard at, stepping away from it and looking at it on a macro level, big picture. And you can only get that with a vacation. And like I said, it's not sitting by the goddamn pool with a drink in your hand. No, that's not a vacation. A vacation is doing something completely different that occupies your entire mind, that takes you mentally away from where you are. That takes you away for a little bit, a week or two, and gives you clarity. Because ultimately you're going to find that, clarity is the most important thing.